guys, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Special shout out to Chris and the Home Invest team for working with us on this month's investment sponsor webinar. I am joined by Jason
Hi,
Persant,
everyone. Nice to see you.
part of our sales executive team here at Madison Trust. And we're definitely excited to speak with Home Invest, learn a little bit more about what's going on in their world of real estate and finance. And without further ado, Chris, how you doing over there in Florida?
Now, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Presenting master of the real estate deal and entrepreneur champion of the world, Chris, the negotiator Levin.
Hopefully we got it that time.
Yeah, of course. Well, that was awesome and truly a once in a lifetime experience. We will never have another webinar intro like that, Chris. I can tell you that right now.
Awesome.
Before we get started, we do want to just let every investor, as well as, if there's any financial planners or lawyers listening to us right now, Madison Trust is a passive custodian. We cannot advise on any specific deals to our investor base. We always encourage everyone to do their due diligence on the entities that they choose to hold within their self-directed IRA accounts. But without further ado, I think we'll start asking you some questions, Chris. So you ready? You ready to knock it out?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Awesome. All righty. So we'll start by answering some self-directed IRA questions, maybe first.
Okay.
So what are the specific benefits of using a self-directed IRA or a 401k to invest into real estate compared to other traditional investments?
So a couple of things. First off, you have access to some additional funds that you wouldn't have pictured. So if you're doing everyday real estate investing, you might be grabbing from your personal bank account. With something like this, you might have IRA funds kind of sitting on the side, stuck in the stock market. You could use part of that money. You could use all of it. Really depends on what you want to do. But it's access to money that you didn't normally have. And for some people, it really just comes down to that ability to diversify. You do have, I would say, in certain situations, better control of your returns. I'm in market, you do have to watch it go up and down. Sometimes it's stuck in a set fund. With this, you might be able to pick out that specific investment. That could be a real estate home. For some people, it's investing in a private company that they're more familiar with. Could be a mix and match of different things.
Yeah, especially for real estate investors who may be joining this call today, a potential for passive investment income is always a great opportunity for investing through your self-directed IRA. You may not be able to do that through the standard volatility of the stock market. Chris, any comments about that?
Man, see, a smart investor uses both sides of the coins, and we have come to know one thing. It's not just how much you earn that equates to real wealth. It's how much you get to keep at the end of the day. And doing this correctly with using a self-directed IRA or a solo 401k is absolutely the best partner on any sound real estate investment.
Excellent. Yep. And we would agree. We work with it every day, investors every day in the self-directed IRA space, as well as solo 401k space. So Chris, the next question really is, what type of real estate deals are available for investment through a self-directed IRA, specifically through Home Invest?
Right. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with self-directed IRAs and solo 401ks. All I can speak on is the things that we specialize in. And what we specialize in is multifamily residential. And there's reasons for that. There's tax benefits specific to that. And that's why we pursue it. And in addition to that, right now it is the most ideal time to invest in multifamily residential. And I'm going to show you why here in a second, or maybe not.
This is when the weatherman comes in.
This is when the weatherman comes in for sure.
Perfect. There he is.
So what you're seeing here is exactly what's going on in the multifamily real estate market, right? So we had this bounce happening way back over here in the multifamily real estate, where it's going down and it's on its way back up. So right now is the most advantageous time to invest in multifamily real estate. Last time we saw this was back in 2008. So right now, the values are going up. It's a good time to jump on board and make that happen, because you're gonna see the best benefits out of these assets. The other thing that makes it an advantageous time is the big beautiful bill that just passed, right? So currently, anybody with any real wealth is literally buying negatively cash flow deals, not in our business plan. We do not do this. But there are people out there who are buying negatively cash flowing properties just to take advantage of the 100% bonus depreciation and accelerated depreciation available in multifamily residential. It's sometimes they can throw $100 million into an asset, suffer a little bit of cash flow, turn that asset over, and then at the end of the day, their net from the tax advantages of that acquisition outweigh the negative cash flow. Again, we don't do that with our investors. All of our properties have to be in a buy box where we're pulling a minimum of 18 to 22% IRR on our deals.
Wow, that's awesome. And any investors able to go into any of your deals, accredited, non-accredited?
We don't primarily deal with non-accredited investors. Every now and again, we'll do something special, but we primarily deal with accredited investors who are savvy to the market, understand the risks, understand what it's like, just for a plethora of reasons. The other thing that we like to do is we like to bring as few people into a deal as possible. We really do operate our deals like I don't want to say a family, because there's a lot of people that have dysfunctional families, but we like having a small community of investors together, because we have relationships with our investors. We go to dinner with them. We have specifically here, we have a monthly town hall type meeting about every one of our properties, allow our investors to ask questions. We're completely interactive with them, and they understand exactly what's going on in the transaction and in the property as they progress along the way with us.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned a little bit about risk. So we did want to highlight some of the IRS rules and restrictions for investing into real estate through a self-directed IRA. And I really think that's a common question asked amongst our investor base, as well as I'm sure yours and anyone else joining this call today. So it's definitely a lot easier to say what you can't hold within a self-directed IRA than what you can. I mean, we have clients that invest into movie productions, meat packing factories, and even Arabian racehorses. And, we want to ensure that no prohibited transactions are taking place, as well as no self-dealing or personal benefit is taking place as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about what other restrictions or clients should be made aware of?
So, kind of like what Nicole covered. Unfortunately, no Babe Ruth rookie cards into an account like this, but what you can do is things like real estate, and it's really, for somebody who is investing into real estate, it's just a matter of who you're dealing with, not really where the location is, let's just say. Because we have people doing domestic real estate, international, it could be the place down the street, it could be far away, it doesn't make a difference to us. Really what we look at is making sure that no tight family is involved, that there's no self-dealing, so meaning the property you're investing into, you're all of a sudden going to use the property for personal use. So there's certain rules that we have to work around. The other part is when it comes to the IRA investing into it. Your personal name wouldn't be going on the actual purchase contract or being involved with it. It's really your IRA. In our situation, it's Madison Trust Company for the benefit of your name and account number, just to make things clearer and to the side.
Absolutely. Chris, can you tell us what are some risks associated with investing through self-directed IRAs into real estate?
Absolutely. So every investment has a risk, right? It's just the nature of the beast. We could buy a property tomorrow, and the market could fall out, and a nuclear bomb could drop, and the property would then be for all intents and purposes null and void. We do insure against that. And we do here at Home Invest. I'm not talking about other people. Here at Home Invest, we underwrite our deals very conservatively, because it's brutally important to us that every one of our investors gets the full benefit of investing with us. And the reason is because of this. It's to believe in more. Our investors are involved with us because of that believe in more, right? So, and this is how we minimize the risk. just so you understand, and my CIO, who I know is on this call, literally has to fight back when I say this, but the primary goal of our investments is not profits. It's not profits. It's not the goal. It's a result of our actions, right? And what the Believing More is this. Every one of our properties, we invest in the community in those properties. We do things like we bring in ministers that live on our properties. They put community events together. We have these monthly events that go on. And the reason is that we have found that people who get involved in their community are less likely to leave. And if they're less likely to leave, there's less cost for us to turn those apartments and therefore driving our profits up. Not the primary reason for our Believing More. The primary reason for our Believing More is my personal story. So at 14 years old, I was in a place in my life where I was alone, didn't believe anybody cared, nobody loved me, and literally God sent an angel into my life to change that. So I have been blessed, we have been blessed with the financial ability to get involved in investment and get involved in multifamily investment so that we can do things like this Believing More and have a positive ripple in the world, but at the same time, bring profits to our investors that are significantly higher than most. And since we do it from such a deep, soulful level, we do everything we can to avoid risks. Our investors are our number one driver, right? Because without them, we couldn't do anything. So we do everything we can to minimize the exposure to risk, making sure that we have the right deals and making sure that we're having the right assets put together to match with our investors' goals. Sorry, I took you down a long road to get you to that answer.
Well, it's important. It's important for anybody listening to this call and anybody who will eventually listen to this call and to understand risk management and to understand to diversify, which is why we are here to educate investors that they don't have to keep all their eggs in one basket. They can truly diversify through retirement money into opportunities that are out there. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that story, Chris.
Absolutely.
So how does really the process work of setting up and funding a real estate investment through a self-directed IRA? Jason works with clients every single day. Why don't you tell us a little bit how they can get started, and then we'll pivot to Chris to see how clients can get started with his entity.
Yep. And the thing we have in common between whether you're going with Home Invest or people coming in for other investments, it's one simple model. It's a 3-step: open your account, fund your account, invest your account. So opening the account, that's something that basically I'd be working alongside you if you need it. If you're independent, you want to run with it, that's totally fine. But setting up the application is very easy. We'll make sure that you have the right account type of what you're trying to do. Funding your account, if it's a contribution, great. You might be sending us a check. You might be sending us money some other way. It could be a transfer from something like an IRA. It could be a rollover from something like a 401k. Either which way, your money flows over here. And then you'll work with Madison Trust Company to actually place the investment. So we'll be working alongside Chris to making sure that we have all the investment docs that we need to make sure that your investment goes smoothly and that everything is streamlined for you. And I guess a follow-up, so from Chris's side, he does handle some very specific things with documentation. Chris, you want to cover what you have to do from your part?
Absolutely. From our side, we have to prepare the PPM. We have to prepare all the required documents for review and everything else for you guys to do what you do, right? And it's so very simple once you go through that 3-step process. You align yourself with the deal that we're offering, go through the PPM, make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be, and you're agreeable to it. And the transfer of the funds and making the investment happen, and that operational part is so super simple. I got to tell you, Matt, we've dealt with other companies in the past. We won't deal with anybody else anymore, just because you guys make it so darn simple for our investors to jump on board and make things happen. And we're so appreciative of that, because so many people are intimidated by this process. But even new investors that want to transfer out of their existing IRA into a self-directed, man, you guys just make it so easy. We literally, it's just, here, come talk to these people for 20 minutes, and you guys just make it happen. So you guys are a godsend.
Oh, that's good. We love to hear it. And that's why we're here, right? We need investors to understand they're not speaking with a robot on the phone. They're speaking with Nicole, Jason, and Chris in order to complete the transaction. So that's fantastic.
And even when it comes down to
just for full disclosure, I apologize. I didn't mean to speak over you, Jason.
All good.
No, I was a client of Madison Trust before I owned Home Invest. So it's so weird. And my story is that I started with Home Invest as a student, and now I own the company. So the story is that I got introduced to you guys through Home Invest, set it up, did the investments, the whole 9 yards. So I walked the process from the investor side as well. Newbie coming in, set it up, and did the investment, and it was just so easy.
So if you are interested in moving forward, there is, of course, fee structures that we have to adhere to here at Madison Trust. It's we're a business. That's how we make our money. It's important to understand, especially if you're a real estate investor, that we have a flat rate fee structure here at Madison Trust. Clients are required to maintain a $500 minimum balance. Chris, can you tell us a little bit more about what your investors may expect in terms of fees on your end?
Our fees are very minimal. Our whole structure and our whole belief system is that we benefit when our investors benefit. So one of the things that we don't do currently is we don't charge, these enormous fees like other syndicators do. We do charge some fees in the front, acquisition fees, marketing fees, because we obviously have to spend a whole lot of money, to get our investors together to bring them into a deal. And then we make the majority of our money on the exit. So why is that important? Because that means if we don't perform and increase the profits of the asset, we don't eat. So,
Right.
and we have to eat in order to do the things that I was talking about before to positively affect the world. So we're very, very, very conscientious of the properties we take, that they have predictable results, and that we can properly manage them without all these extraordinary fees that you might see in the marketplace. Small upfront fee, and we make our money by splitting the profits on the tail end with the investors.
Yeah, and that's a really great point. What kind of returns would an investor expect working with Home Invest in terms of cash flow or appreciation?
So again, and I hate to sound like I'm bragging, but I kind of am. Our buy box is very strict in the fact that quite often you'll get involved in a deal where they'll say, oh, we're going to give you 10% preferred returns, but you know what? We're not going to give you that until the second or third year, and we'll make up for it somewhere along the way. Our buy box is very specific. We have a tiered approach as to what your returns would be, but we always have a minimum of 6% preferred returns, and we start paying those after the first quarter of ownership. So if once we own the property for a full quarter, you immediately start getting returns. Again, we have a tiered approach. So if you're in for $100,000, that's a 6% preferred return with a 70-30 split on the profit exit that I was just discussing. If you come in for $500,000 or above, it's 8% preferred returns with a 75-25% profit split. And by the way, we get the small part, the 25% part. And lastly, at $1 million and above, you get 10% preferred returns with an 80-20 profit split on the exit. And we generally predict up to 22% IRR. That's been the lowest exit we've had thus far. And again, I'm going to say up to 22% because I am not a tax attorney. I can't guarantee results. And I can give you that little thing that they put along every, the bottom of every investment commercial you see about, these are not typical results. But the reality is we generally look to do a double up our investors' money within 5 years. And most of our deals are 3 to 5 years.
Amazing.
Now, how do you actually pick the deals? How do you help vet deals to certain clients? So whether you're talking to us, whether you're talking to the clients themselves, how do you, Chris, actually coordinate which deals to bring out to who?
So we have a process. We're starting to utilize some AI, but the reality is good old-fashioned, homework. We underwrite 150 deals before we will even put out an LOI. So a lot of work goes on behind the scenes. Everybody makes it, you see the ads on Facebook for us and all this stuff. We've got all these great deals, but what you don't see is it took some of these deals we've been negotiating for a year and a half, some of them 2 or 3 months. But the amount of work that goes into them. So we've got this stringent underwriting process that we go through. And again, we got this buy box that requires that we can pay that 6% upfront or better, right? And it has to fall within that. And it has to fall within other criteria, demographic and job and employment related criteria in order for us to ever consider it. Because, I go back back to every one of our investors is my friend Frankie's mom, Stella. And nobody, absolutely nobody, is going to lose a dime on my watch. We have never, not once ever, had a capital call on any of our investors. So I don't want to write checks. So as a result, we go in there and we're extremely, extremely diligent on the deals that we decide to move forward with.
Right,
Yes, sir.
right. Wow, that's a good safety net
Yeah.
for investors. Absolutely. And what is the typical timeline of when clients could expect returns or distributions, let's say back to their IRA or to themselves personally?
Back to our buy box, which indicates that we're going to pay back, start paying out within the right after the first quarter of ownership. So if we get involved in a deal in the end of the third quarter, by January 30th of the following year, you're receiving funds back. So right
Awesome.
away, we don't play games like that.
So, yep. And if you do plan on investing into different alternative investments through a self-directed IRA, it's important to note that any investment income must come back into your self-directed IRA accounts. We do not want to run into a situation where we have to distribute you or the assets held within your IRA account. So, just important for any investor who's trying to utilize retirement money in the future. So yeah, how could Madison Trust or how could any investor really trust you guys with their investments and the responsibility of those investments?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. And the answer is really simple. Look at this face. No. Listen, I'm back to the reasons that I do this. So understand that I got back into real estate, back into multifamily real estate, is because of other business successes. I literally got tired of paying so much in taxes on building these wonderful businesses, selling them, and then writing checks for millions of dollars to the government that were going to build a bridge to nowhere. So the reason that you can trust us and the differentiator for us is I've got my money in every deal that I get our investors involved in, number one. Secondarily, there's a reason for why we do this. Back to the believe in more, that's the driving force behind our company. So if I'm not making money with this company and if our investments aren't generating profits, there are kids that I've committed to feeding that are not going to get fed. So we are so caught up in just being good stewards of what God has blessed us with that I can only tell you that we work from the heart. We're men of integrity, and we do exactly what we say we're going to do. In addition to that, we are completely transparent. All of our deals are available through a portal. You can see where every dime is spent. You can see all the transactions. You can see everything happening in near real time. There's usually a 2 or 3 day delay sometimes when things get posted. So we have our monthly town hall meetings. We're completely transparent. You can pick up the phone. You can come see us. We're just real men trying to make a difference in the world, one kid at a time.
Well, sounds good. We'll be by there at the next event. I'll be heading down to Florida to see you, Chris, and Dan. Shout out to Dan. All I can say is thank you so much to the Home Invest team for joining us today. We love you guys. You guys are great to work with.
I was just going to say, man, it's been an absolute blessing working with you guys, the whole relationship, the whole process. And thank you so much for inviting us on and allow us to showcase what we do here at Home Invest. And I hope that people understand the bottom line for us is having a positive impact in the world while returning profits to our investors.